Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down to you exactly what Bitcoin must do to stage a new Bitcoin bull market. In fact, I'm going to be explaining precisely why Bitcoin hasn't already started a Bitcoin bull market, and if it's going to, I'll show you exactly where, when, and how Bitcoin will do so. We're going to be doing technical and fundamental analysis in this video, and I'm going to show you a zone of resistance that Bitcoin must get above if it has any hopes of starting a Bitcoin bull market, and if it doesn't relatively soon, there's a pretty high chance that Bitcoin's actually going to fall back down to previous levels of support. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we're going to be going over quite a lot in today's video, so if you guys want to learn everything herein, I highly encourage you to watch until the end. And if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to hit that like button down below. It really helps out the channel. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We post daily cryptocurrency content, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. But without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, we have a lot to get into in today's video, but the first thing I need to do is point out to you that we have been in a consistent uptrend for 44 days and rallied over 40%. In that time, Bitcoin has not had a significant pullback. We did have one right here where Bitcoin fell back to the 20 exponential moving average, which is well and good, but with this kind of rally, hopefully Bitcoin would have a little bit more consolidation. Hopefully that'll happen now. This is what this analysis may be leading us to when it comes time for conclusions. Guys, don't get me wrong, Bitcoin is looking very bullish on the daily and the weekly chart. Look at the RSI here. It's sitting up between 60 and 70. That's a bullish thing. It is a little overextended. It does mean that if we have a rally, it's going to get in overextended territory, but in general, when the RSI is above 50, it means that the market is bullish. When Bitcoin's RSI is below 50, it means that the market is bearish. Similar thing on the MACD, although we're coming back to this. At the moment anyway, MACD is looking bullish on the daily chart and of course out on the weekly chart as well. You guys already knew that. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that I did. Because quite frankly, guys, what's happened over the last 24 hours down here on the hourly chart isn't exactly instilling confidence in the market to me. As you can see, for 2 days, Bitcoin traded sideways here. We had a major wick down to around $9,120, and from there, Bitcoin has started to trend to the downside once again overnight. We've had about 14 consistent red candlesticks in a row with just a little bit of green spattered in there for good measure. As you can see also down here on the hourly chart, Bitcoin is below its 20 exponential moving average, which does indicate a short-term downtrend. The main thing that concerns me about this, though, guys, is actually the structure of this market, where we traded sideways, we tried to break bullish, and we rejected around 955, and we had a correction. I've seen this happen quite a lot in markets. When they're topping out, they'll trade sideways because they're out of bullish momentum. The bears and the bulls are evenly matched, so there's probably a reversal coming, and then the bulls will try for one last push, and then they get rejected. And as you can see, the rally here is about half the size of the pullback here, indicating that this could actually be a trend reversal in the favor of the bears. Now, whether or not that comes to fruition is largely dependent on whether the short term respects the longer term time frames, the longer term time frames being pretty bullish. But even out here on the 4-hourly chart, guys, you can see that Bitcoin has come down to one of its major levels of support, the 20 exponential moving average again, and we're currently testing it and may end up breaking it. One more thing to mention down here on the shorter term time frames is this flat level of support around $9,175. This is where Bitcoin tested over here. Bitcoin tested it as resistance. We are now coming down to test it as support, and this could definitely cause a bounce to be put in. If we look out here on the daily chart, guys, what we're going to see is pretty interesting, having to do with the moving averages. For one, we're seeing the 20 daily exponential moving average rally up to the 200 simple, and it looks like in the next week or so there's going to be a cross between these two. That's actually a very good sign. We haven't seen those two moving averages be in bullish alignment in quite some time. Notice how over here we have the shortest term, shorter term, longer term, longest term moving average aligned from shortest term to longest term from top to bottom. During a bear market, you're going to see exactly the opposite, with the longest term, longer term, shorter term, shortest term in alignment. This is a telltale sign of a bear market. So when you see a bear market shifting into a bull market or vice versa, then you want to see a lot of these alignments shifting. We're about to see a cross between the 20 exponential moving average and the 200 daily simple moving average, and these two down here, the 50 and the 100. That would be a very good sign. Eventually, we want to see all three of these moving averages back up above the 200, but the fact that they are coming together and about to have bullish crosses is a good thing. One thing I also want to mention, guys, is the shorts and the longs chart. The shorts and the longs are looking very bullish right now, as we have a significant bias in favor of the bulls. As you can see on Bitfinex, 80% of positions are in longs. On BitMEX, it's 60%. On Binance, it is 40%, but there's not a whole lot of volume on Binance. All told, 2/3 of all margin positions are currently in long positions. Now, you can say what you will about that. We've debated that on the channel before, but in my opinion, that's a bullish thing. The more people that are bullish, the more people that are longing. And by the way, the increase in the longs indicates that there's more bullish buying pressure moving into the market, which is what you need to rally the market. So I'm perfectly happy with that statistic. One thing to mention also, guys, is that we do obviously have the halving coming up. In a few months, we're going to see Bitcoin's block reward cut in half, and that is going to massively impact the intrinsic value of Bitcoin, the underlying value of Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it. The stock to flow value of Bitcoin in this case would see Bitcoin's value rally to nearly $100,000 sometime in 2021. The halving immediately may not have a bullish impact on Bitcoin. In fact, historically, it might have a short-term bearish impact on Bitcoin, but in the long term, it's going to be one of the things that kicks off and sustains a new Bitcoin bull market. So what of that then? The Bitcoin bull market, has it started yet? No, it hasn't. Bitcoin is very bullish. We have rallied 40% in the last 44 days. That is true. Bitcoin, in my opinion, however, is not in a bull market. We are above our moving averages. Great. The problem is we've been above them for 3 or 4 days, and Bitcoin needs a little bit more time than that to confirm a multi-year bull market. I think that part is obvious. Furthermore, you want to see the alignment of the moving averages come into position as I showed you a while ago. They're moving in the right direction, and based on the current trend, if it continues, a month from now, I could pretty confidently say, yeah, we're in a bull market. Bitcoin will probably be up at like $10,000 to $12,000. We'll see. Until that happens, you want to be a little careful about designating a new Bitcoin bull market, getting everyone hyped up, and then if it comes down, then everybody all of a sudden gets distraught, dismayed, and they leave the market. You don't want to do that. So that leads us to the question of today's video. What will it take for Bitcoin to actually get into a bull market? I just talked about all of these technicals, but where do they actually come into play? What does it mean for Bitcoin? They're all just technicals on their own unless they are brought together in some kind of theory. Well, guys, here's the deal. We're looking at a major level of resistance, and we're not even seeing it. As you guys can see, we're above all of our trend lines. We're above all of the levels of resistance that we've drawn. Here's the problem, though. The reason that Bitcoin has not rallied very quickly is because Bitcoin's level of resistance is actually this. It's a zone. Because if you guys will notice on the VPVR, when we bring it up right over here, Bitcoin has a pretty big spike in the VPVR right here compared to what we were seeing before. This VPVR zone was very, very thin before Bitcoin came in and put all of that price action in. Bitcoin has not been having to worry about VPVR resistance for a while, but now that Bitcoin's getting back up to these levels that it was previously at, it is having to worry about that, and it's trying to slug its way through $9,175 to 10 grand. Now, don't get me wrong, above 10 grand, there's quite a lot of resistance as well, but I have a feeling that if we get all the way up there, we're going to be far enough away from all of our levels of support that Bitcoin could confidently call itself a new Bitcoin bull market, and then we'd be a lot happier. I want to see Bitcoin get above $10,000. Now, I'm happy about where Bitcoin is now, but I am concerned that we're not rallying very quickly. And the reason we're not rallying very quickly is because we're in this zone of resistance that I need you guys to be aware of. And this isn't just an arbitrary zone. This level right here around 9175 has been well established in the past with support there, resistance there, and many other touches and trades surrounding that level. $10,000 is obviously a big even. It's probably one of the most important big evens on Bitcoin right now. And there's also quite a lot of trading at exactly that level. We could see that it is being used as support over here, right over there, and resistance right here. And as you can see, in between those two levels of 9175 and $10,000, there is a significant amount of trading. And a big part of the reason that Bitcoin hasn't just exploded is because Bitcoin has already exhausted itself more or less from the rally that we've been in, and now it's starting to test some very strong resistance. And technically, yes, there is resistance all the way up to $14,000, but as we get closer and closer to that level, as you can see, the resistance starts to taper off over here on the VPVR because there's just less trading. And that explains exactly what I've been saying over the last several days of we need to be careful because Bitcoin is very bullish right now, but Bitcoin needs to get through this zone of resistance. Bitcoin actually needs to get up here and stay up here for a long time. I'm talking like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks above the 200 daily simple moving average before we really start to be confident that Bitcoin is in a bull market. Yes, guys, the trend is your friend until it ends, but the thing is, I'm not totally convinced this downtrend is over yet. I think it's moving in that direction, but I'm trying to be cautious. So please don't misconstrue what I'm saying for me being bearish on the market and calling for a major correction. That's not necessarily what I'm saying, but I am saying we need to be a little careful and don't get overhyped because I've seen a lot of people in my live streams, in my comments, my Discord, by email, like, Jeb, Bitcoin's about to explode. How much should I invest? Careful. Patience, young Padawan. You don't want to get overexposed to Bitcoin when it might not necessarily be in the most bullish scenario. So I'm not telling you to avoid longing. I'm not telling you to avoid investing. I'm not telling you to short. I'm simply saying be careful. Make sure you're using your technical analysis and your wisdom and your experience so that you can make an informed and profitable trade. I hope you guys did get some good value out of this video. If you did, consider hitting that like button down below. It really helps out the channel when you do that. And if you're interested in more content like this, we post cryptocurrency videos every single day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. But anyway, guys, that is going to have to wrap it out for today's video. But before I go, I do first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.